Hey, welcome back for part 2 of this week's Theology Thursday. We are talking about reasons people don't sing when they come to church. In the part 1 video, we looked at an article written by Tim Challies called Why I Didn't Sing When I Visited Your Church. And we looked at 3 reasons he gave in that article why he finds it difficult to sing when he visits some churches. So I hope you'll check that video out. What I want to do here in part 2 is to give you 3 more reasons why I happen to think people don't sing when they come to church. Reason number 1, I think people don't sing when they come to church because they're 21st century American men. In my experience, unless they really want to sing, 21st century American men really don't want to sing. There are 2 polar opposite camps that most men today tend to fall into. On the one hand, there's the guy that, you have to be careful around him because if you accidentally quote the words to a song that he likes, you're about to get an impromptu performance of Bohemian Rhapsody. Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. Or there's the guy on the other hand who would rather punch you in the face than sing happy birthday to his own child. There seems to be very little middle ground. And most American guys today tend to fall into that latter category. We've lost to singing as a cultural experience. In Africa, they still sing. In Asia, they still sing. In Europe, they definitely still sing. If you go to the pub, you're singing. If you go to the soccer match, you're singing. In America, the men just don't sing. It's not that they can't, they just won't. It's not because the song is too high, it's not because the room is too dark, it's not because they don't like guitars, it's because they just don't like to sing. You could have King David and the sons of Korah up there leading worship next week, these guys are not singing. Number 2, I think people don't sing at church because they're not musicians. I remember growing up, we used to get the newspaper, and every year around late fall or early winter, included in the newspaper would be this little songbook of Christmas carols. Not a huge thing, like 15 or so songs, but a songbook of printed music distributed to every household that got the newspaper. What a waste! Not 25 years ago. 25 years ago, most households had at least one person who was a musician of some sort. And 25 years ago, not only was it the expectation that people would generally just want to gather around and sing, but additionally that there would be a competent person who could lead said singing from some kind of instrument. Not today. Tragically, the arts have taken a gigantic hit in the last few years. Music programs are just not what they used to be. And when you combine a culture that doesn't like to sing anymore with a decreasing investment in music education, people aren't going to sing. Number 3, I think people don't sing at church because frankly they have not prepared. Ironically, it was the Puritans who actually pushed this idea of Sunday worship really beginning on Saturday night in the home. In other words, it was the worshipers themselves who carried the responsibility to prepare their hearts for worship. It wasn't on your pastor. It wasn't on your worship leader to get you ready. You were responsible for preparing your heart for worship. In one setting where I was leading worship a few years ago, I remember getting ready and looking out into the gathering, and I saw a man standing there who I happened to know was a pastor. And I saw him standing out there, literally with his arms crossed, with a scowl on his face, and a glare in his eyes that said something I can only imagine like, I dare you to try to make me sing. Now I could be wrong, but I don't think that brother showed up ready for worship that day. And for too many of us, that is exactly the problem. We don't come ready to worship. And it seems to me that the sad reality is that we're not ready for worship precisely because we have not been worshiping. If your worship experience before the Lord is limited to and defined by whatever slice of that 90-minute service your church happens to give to singing, odds are you're going to end up being hypercritical of what goes on during that time. Because you're relying on 20 minutes a week to accomplish something that is meant to be experienced and enjoyed through a lifetime of day-by-day practice. Alright, so there you have it. Some food for thought for you. There's 3 more reasons that I personally think that people don't sing when they come to church. Let me know in the comments below, why do you think people don't sing when they come to church? Also, please do let me know if there are other aspects of worship ministry or any particular worship songs that you would like to think through together here on Theology Thursday. Thank you so much for your support, and again, if you have not subscribed to this channel, I would really appreciate it if you would consider doing that as well. So until then, I'll see you next time.